Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Good
Maria.
morning, Miss Amanda.
Okay, we'll give a couple of minutes for everybody to join and then we'll get started. I know you guys had a lot of homework yesterday. I'm sorry that you had a lot of homework, but I wanted to make sure you had practice for your quiz on Wednesday. Okay, so this is why you had the extra review sheets to help you study for your quiz.
It's okay.
All right, still waiting for people to join from the waiting room. Their names, it says joining, so we'll wait until everybody joins. And then we'll get started, okay? We're going to start today by going over our vocabulary. When we finish the vocabulary, we'll move on to the story that helps to explain the vocabulary and introduces our essential question for the week. And then we will do the literary terms together. After the literary terms, we're going to do more review for your grammar quiz, okay? So we'll start with reading in the first session and we will move to language arts in the second session. All right. All right. Let's give one more minute for the people to join and then we'll get started. I'm going to mute everyone now. So if you have any questions, you have to raise your hand to ask.
Good morning, Miss Amanda.
Yes, dear, what's your question?
I wanted to say good morning.
Okay, good morning. Good morning to everybody. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to take the attendance. Let's see. All right, I have a couple of people in my class who have been entering the meeting and then leaving. If you're not here from the beginning to the end, your attendance does not count. Okay, if you come late to the meeting, more than 5 minutes, then your attendance does not count. It's like you were not here. So you have to be on time and you have to stay until the end of the meeting. You cannot come and then leave. Okay, and I have had students, especially in grade 4, who have come to the meeting and then left. Okay, so this is not acceptable and it does not count for you. It's like you were not here. When you do that, I remove your name from the attendance. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and get started. Everybody should have their definitions next to them that you wrote last night for homework. All right, we're going to start with the first word. If you'd like to read one of the definitions for me, you can raise your hand now. Okay. All right, Reem, can you read the first one for us, please? Address.
And number 2, the place where someone or something is located.
Okay, I can barely hear your voice. Can you raise it a little bit louder, please?
An official speech. Number 2, the place where someone or something is located.
Okay, so we have a double meaning here. We have a multiple meaning word. The first one is that it's to give a speech. If you look at the picture, we see that the gentleman is standing at a podium. This is what we call the stand that he stands at here. It's called a podium. And he is standing there giving a speech. He's speaking to the people in the audience, okay? This is the first one. A formal speech is an address. Now, also the place that you live is your address. Okay, so remember when we wrote the friendly letter and we put the address up in the heading? The address that you live at is your address. Also, a formal speech given to a group is an address. Now, the one that's going to relate to our story today is to give the official speech, okay? All right. Thank you, Reem. Ed, can you read the sentence for us for our address?
Okay. The three interviewers were divided about
No, honey.
hiring the woman.
No, honey, address.
In his
We're on
address,
the first word.
of official speech.
Okay, we've already done the definition. I asked you to read the sentence, and we're on the first word, not the second.
In his address, the mayor urged the citizens to take pride in their community.
Thank you very much, guys. Please, 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 please pay attention to where we are and keep up with us. This is your job. It's your job to pay attention and know where we are when you are called on. Okay? All right, let's see. Basil, your mic is not connected. Please check your mic. All right, Melik, tell us what divided means.
Divided means split into parts or pieces.
Okay, right. Something that is divided is separated into parts or pieces. Kind of like, what can you think of that's separated into parts or pieces, Malik?
Like maybe when we cut a pizza, we split it into pieces.
Exactly. That's right. That's what came to mind for me as well. Thank you, honey. A pizza. We cut a pizza into different pieces. We cut it into slices. So it is divided. Okay. Excellent. Thank you, honey. All right. Let's see. Yassine, can you read the sample sentence for us, please, for this word?
The simple sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Miss, I don't have the book.
It's on the screen. You see it? It's on the screen. Yassine, it's right here on the screen.
Miss, divided.
Divided.
The three interviews were divided about
Right. Hiring.
earning the women.
Okay, so we see here that the woman is sitting for an interview for a job, and there are three people questioning her. Those are the interviewers. The three interviewers were divided about hiring the woman. That means that they did not all agree. Okay, they were separated. Okay, thank you, Yassine. All right. Hello, Ragmini.
Hello.
Can you read can you tell us the definition for haste?
Of course. Hurry or quickness in movement.
That's exactly right. When you move in haste, you do something in a quick way. Okay, so haste is done with quickness, and it's in the way you move or in the way you act. Okay, thank you, Ragmini. Basil, can you read the sentence for us, please, for haste?
Okay. Haste. Hurry.
Honey, it's on the screen right here. We've already done the definition.
Milo had to make haste in order not to be late for class.
Okay, so it said Milo had to make haste. That means Milo had to move with quickness in order not to be late for class. Thank you. All right. Next word, opposed. Abdurrahman, what does opposed mean?
To have been against
That's exactly right. And if we look at
or
the picture,
resisted.
okay, if we look at the picture, we can tell that these two people are against each other. They are arguing, they're right in each other's face. This happens a lot in baseball for anybody who watches baseball. We see that they stand together and they put their facial gear together and they argue about the game. Okay, thank you, Abdurrahman. So again, opposed means when someone is opposed to something, they are against it. Okay, all right, thank you. Let's see. Tahir, can you read the sentence for us for opposed?
Yes, the
Can you read
catcher was opposed to the
umpires?
umpire's call and wanted to protest it.
Okay, thank you. So we have, again, we have the player on the left, the umpire on the right. The umpire is the person who calls the game. He says if you're safe, if you're out, if your point counts, okay? So the catcher was opposed to the umpire's call. He didn't like the way he called the game, and he wanted to protest it. Remember, we said protest is when you stand up against something you don't think is correct, okay? All right, moving on to the second page. Jenna, can you tell us what the word perish means, please?
Yes. To be destroyed or die.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
To be destroyed or die.
Okay, I only heard die. But okay, I don't know if your mic is muffled, but I can't hear you very well this morning. It's okay. Check your mic for me, please. Make sure that you are close enough to it and that it is plugged correctly. Okay, perish. So we said perish. She told us it means to die. To perish means that something, in my book, it says disappear or vanish, but that to me is not a correct meaning. When something perishes, it means it dies because it has gone bad, or it doesn't have what it needs to continue to live. When something perishes, the end result is that it is dead. Now, for instance, um, let's read the sample sentence together first, and then we'll discuss. Let's see. Hamza, can you read the sentence for perish for us, please?
Of course. The town crier rang her bell before she read the proclamation from the mayor.
Okay, we're on the word perish.
Okay, if you put the lettuce in the refrigerator, it will stay fresh and not perish as quickly.
Thank you. Okay, so perish in this sentence, it talks about us putting a head of lettuce in the fridge and how that keeps it fresh so that it doesn't go bad as fast. Okay, if we talk about, let's say, putting apples on the counter and the weather is really hot, the apples start to turn and they get soft when we leave them out for a long time. The apples perish, which means that they are no longer any good. Okay. So to keep something from perishing, to keep something from dying, we keep it in the situation that makes it stay for longer. Like in this case, we put food inside the refrigerator. Okay, to perish in my book says disappear or vanish. I can't think of anything that perishes that disappears or vanishes. Can you help me out? Does anybody know of anything that disappears or vanishes? I can't think of anything that vanishes when it dies, okay? All right, so we'll think about that and see why that's written in my book. I don't know what that, maybe that's a mistake. Anyway, to perish then means to die or to go bad, to no longer be in a state that can be used, okay? All right, proclamation. Leanne, what does proclamation mean?
Good morning.
One.
Proclamations mean an official public announcement.
That's right. So a proclamation is when someone makes an official announcement to the people that live in an area. Like, for instance, if you remember studying about when Christopher Columbus discovered America, and the people were living here and they were fighting to get their independence from Great Britain. They had a person who ran around the town because they didn't have speakers back then and big microphones and ways of delivering a message like we have today. So they had a person run around the town, and he yelled into a big horn to make the sound travel, telling people that the British were coming to attack them. So he ran around saying, the British are coming, the British are coming. He was making a proclamation to all the people in that area, an official announcement, okay? So today we use microphones and we use television and we use radio, we use all kinds of technology to help us make proclamations. A proclamation itself is just the announcement of official information, okay? Thank you, Leanne, and let's see. Adito, can you read the sentence for us for proclamation?
Yes. It says the town
Prior,
crier rang her bell before she read the proclamation from the mayor.
okay? So the town crier, thank you. The town crier is a person who makes announcements on behalf of the mayor, and before she started, she rang her bell. She's ringing the bell to show that this is an official announcement, okay? All right, let's move on down to the next two words, the final two. Jemana, tell us what shattered means.
Broke into pieces.
That's right, okay? So when something is shattered, it's broken into pieces, it's completely destroyed, it's ruined, okay? For instance, think about when you have your telephone. If you were to drop your phone on the ground, what would happen to the glass? It would break into many, many pieces, right? So this is what shattered means, to break into many, many pieces, or to completely destroy something. All right. So it's a break. Let's see. Iad, can you read the sentence for us, please, for shattered?
Okay. There was lightning and then a thunderclap shattered the thinness of the
Silence.
night.
Okay, so it says there was lightning and then a thunderclap shattered the silence of the night. So the thunder, okay, guys, my thing just got caught and it moved it up and down before you tell me it's moving. The thunderclap, which makes a really loud noise, broke the silence of the night. The night was very quiet, and this loud thunder that they heard, they saw lightning and they heard thunder. The loud thunder broke the silence, shattered the silence of the night. Okay? So again, Shattered is broken into pieces and destroyed. So here it destroyed the silence, our example of dropping our phone and destroying the screen. Okay. All right, Farida, can you tell us what tension means?
A feeling of pressure caused by too much emotional strain or worry.
Okay, so tension is when you are thinking too much, you are worried too much, you are stressed, when you have too much pressure on you and it causes you to feel upset about it. Okay, that's tension. The feeling that you have when you feel the way of being stressed, pressured, or having too much strain on you. Strain means that you're pushed too far. Okay, this is tension. Let's see. Pilar, can you read the sentence for us for tension?
Okay. 1 second.
It's on the screen, honey.
Okay. Tony felt tension as he tried to remember what the correct answer was on the computer test.
Thank you very much. Okay. So Tony felt a lot of pressure when he was trying to remember the correct answer on the computer test. And we've all felt pressure trying to remember something that we want to answer on a test, and we just can't remember. So we all know what this feeling is like. Let's recap quickly. Address is a formal speech. Divided means to be separated into parts. Haste means to move in a quick way. Opposed means to be against something. Perish means to die or to no longer be usable. Proclamation is an official public announcement. And shattered means to be destroyed or broken. Tension means stress or mental strain, pressure. Okay. All right. Any questions about the vocabulary? I'm going to put all of your hands down because I have hands up to answer. I'm going to put the hands down now so that I can ask if you have any questions regarding any of the vocabulary. Okay, fantastic. I'm glad everybody understands. All right, no questions. Okay. All right, let's move on. Let's read the story, Words for Change. Okay, Words for Change. Now, as we are reading, we're going to pay attention to our essential question and think about how this story is related to this question. How can words lead to change? How can words lead to change? Okay. All right. So if we remember in our last story that we read the story of W.W. Law and how he led the people in his community to stand up against injustice and to fight by not partaking in business. They boycotted many of the businesses in their hometown to try to change the way that they were treated. So this is a continuation of that. We're going to see now another injustice. See how here it says we demand justice. This is also a person fighting for something that they believe in. All right, let's begin. Let's see. Let's look for a voice I have not heard today. Omar, can you read for us first? Omar, I'm trying to unmute your mic. Push the button that says unmute, Omar. Hey guys, if you don't participate, you can't get participation grades for class. Oh, now you opened it, Omar. I saw you open it and close it. Can you open it again, please? Omar, I just saw you open the mic and close it. Can you please open it again? Try again now. I am unmuting you. This is when you tried to open it without me. I am unmuting you now. You should have no problems at all opening your mic. Okay, let's move on to someone else who is willing to participate. All right, Farah, can you read for us, please?
The early year. In 1827, when Elizabeth Cady Stanton was 11, her father said, "Oh, my daughter, I wish you were a boy." Elizabeth was shattered. From that time on, she became determined to prove to her father and to the whole world that women and all people deserve equal treatment.
Okay, thank you. Mehmet, continue.
Sure. Elizabeth's father was a lawyer.
A lawyer.
Yeah, my brother just said that. A lawyer, judge, and congressman. She would listen eagerly when a woman would come see him for legal advice, but she was often disappointed in her father could not help them because the women did not have the same rights as men did. Under the law, married women could not own property or vote. Elizabeth said the tears and complaints of the women who came to my father for legal advice touched my heart and early drew my attention to the injustice and cruelty of the law.
All right, so Elizabeth Cady Stanton, when she was very young, her father said to her, "I wish you were a boy." And this destroyed her. It really hurt her that this is the way her father felt about her. Her father was a lawyer, a judge, and a congressman. So he was a powerful man. He had three very important jobs. And many women would come to him to ask for advice in legal affairs. And women were not allowed to own property or to vote. They didn't have very many rights. So Elizabeth would listen to the women as they would come and talk to her father. And it bothered her greatly about how unfair there was a huge injustice towards women and the cruelty, how mean the laws were to women. Okay, let's move on. All right, Iyad, finish the page for us.
Elizabeth began drawing lines through all the laws she opposed in her father's law books. She planned to take a pair of scissors and cut these pages out. Her father had a better idea. He told her, that when she was grown up, she must get lawmakers to pass new laws. Then the unfair laws would perish and disappear. Women's life would be changed.
All right. So Elizabeth was against many of the laws in her father's book. She opposed them, and she wanted to fight for better rights, for new laws, and to destroy the old laws that were in the books so that women's lives would be better. Okay, next page, please.
I also
All right, Tia, go ahead. Hello, Tia.
Working toward change. Elizabeth was as pa- pas-
Passionate.
passionate about the rights of African Americans as she was about those of women. At that time, the country was divided into by the
Issue.
issue of slavery while working for reform. She met her husband, the
Abolitionist.
abolitionist Henry Stanton.
Anton.
They were married in 1840. Elizabeth refused to use the
Traditional.
traditional words, promised to obey in her wedding vows.
Okay, so Elizabeth was passionate. That means that she cared a great deal about. And she cared a great deal about fighting for rights for women and for African Americans. Remember, at this time, the country was divided into two parts. There were people that believed in slavery and people that did not believe in slavery. Okay, her husband also worked towards getting rights for people. And when she got married, part of the vows that they say when they get married is they say, "We promise to obey." She refused to say that because she refused to say she was going to obey anyone. All right, let's move on. Abdurrahman.
The
Seneca.
Seneca Falls Convention.
Convention.
Elizabeth tried to settle into the role of wife and mother, but she wanted to be an activist and work for change. She took her father's advice and wrote a proclamation. It was called the Declaration of Rights and
Sentiments.
modeled after the
Declaration of Independence.
of it stated the women should be able to vote and have the same rights as men.
Okay, so she wrote a proclamation that stated men and women should have the same rights. Everything should be equal. Okay, I'm going to finish because we are running out of time. She presented this document in 1848 at America's first Women's Rights Convention in Seneca Falls, New York. Elizabeth and her friend Lucretia Mott organized this important event. In her address at the convention, Elizabeth said, "Because women do feel themselves deprived of their most sacred rights, we insist that they have immediate admission to all the rights and privileges which belong to them as citizens of the United States." So she stood up and she fought for rights for women, saying they were American just like the men and they had the same right to everything just like the men had. A winning team. 3 years later, Elizabeth met Susan B. Anthony. Together, the two made an unstoppable team. Elizabeth was a passionate speaker and writer. Anthony was a gifted leader and organizer. In 1869, they formed the National Women's Suffrage Association. This group was dedicated to helping women gain the right to vote. Congress showed no haste or hurry to change the law. So Congress did not help her. They did not move quickly to make any changes. Elizabeth toured the country. She spoke about reforms for women and a woman's right to vote. She did not care if her speeches caused tension and made some people angry. She believed in her cause. Many of the men were angry that the women were standing up and trying to get the same rights as the men. Victory at last. Elizabeth Cady Stanton never got to cast a vote before she died on October 26, 1902. Yet her bold words had a lasting impact. Women finally gained the right to vote on August 18, 1920, when the 19th Amendment was ratified. Elizabeth Cady Stanton's passion for women for equal rights paved the way for future women's lives to be changed forever. Okay, so she fought for rights for women, and the 19th Amendment, which is the amendment that speaks about the right to vote, was ratified, which means they changed it and they added the right for women to vote. All right, a couple of things before the meeting ends. We have 1 minute and 20 seconds. We will do the literary terms together in the next meeting. Then we will do the grammar, so make sure, please, that you have your notebook for literary terms and that you have your language arts textbook for the grammar review. Okay? Anyone who comes to the meeting more than 5 minutes late is not counted as attending. When you are late, your attendance does not count. Please come to the meetings on time. Also, those people that are not prepared when I call on you do not receive participation grades. So it's very important that you are prepared and ready to answer when I call on you, okay? All right, I'm putting down all the hands. We have less than 1 minute and the meeting will end. I will see everybody back at 8:35. Language arts textbook and your notebook, okay? See you then. Bye-bye. $8:35, Basil, 8:35.